Dude, I'm crushing it on Marvel Snap right now. I gotta say.
I thought you deleted it.
No, I told you to delete it.
No, you told me not to download it. What you should have done is just not said nothing.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it on the episode.
Let's start right now. Let's start right now with the Thanos snap. Marvel snap. Is Thanos snapping away your free time if you download this fucking game? And I'm not a sponsor or nothing like that. It's you know what's weird is I almost prefer in some ways the predatory nature of like Diablo Immortal, because at least that pissed me off. Marvel with this game here, with this Marvel Snap, this mobile card game, they figured out a way to make you love it. They make you love, because you know what? You don't have to pay for anything.
Nope.
You can play Marvel Snap all you want without buying nothing.
Yep.
And if you do buy stuff, all it does is upgrade the cosmetics of the cards.
Right.
There you can't. It's not really pay to win, but the thing is, they've done such a good job at because basically, like, you start out with the cards, you unlock heroes with the season pass and all that stuff. You unlock more cards, but they change you upgrade the cards artwork, and you know, you get sick of playing with the same boring cards, and then somebody plays against you and they throw one down and there's lightning flashes and all this other shit. And it's like they got you by the balls. Rob called me the other day and told me, he was like, whatever you do, don't download this game. I had to delete it off my phone. So obviously I'm gonna download the game. I was like, I got to see what you talking about. And man, and then like 9 hours later, I was like, yeah, I think there's gonna be a problem. It's literally what I'm doing with all my like extra time.
Yep.
Yeah, when I'm not washing my ass or writing or performing, I'm playing Marvel Snap.
You gotta pay with your wallet or pay with your calendar. Either one.
And I already gave him $10.
No.
I gave him $10. I did. I bought some gold. It's very confusing. Why is it always so confusing, the monetary system? It's like you need gold to buy gems, to buy jewels, to buy upgrade points. But then you can upgrade sometimes with just jewel. I don't know, man. It's always. I guess they do that on purpose to put as many layers as possible between you and the money you spent.
I think it has a couple of different purposes. The first one is to obfuscate how much you're actually spending, because if it said, hey, you can make Hawkeye look like this for $5, then you probably wouldn't do that, right? You probably wouldn't spend that money. But if it's like, oh, it only costs 3 infinity gems to upgrade Hawkeye's look, and if you like work backwards from it, it's still the same amount of money, but you know, it's like poker chips as opposed to dollar bills. If you were at a casino and every time you put down a bet, you had to put down cold hard cash, you would not bet as much money as if it was little colored chips.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
The other thing is that then they can also upsell you where they're like, well, look, you can get 100 gold bars or whatever the fuck the thing is for $3.99. But if you do $9.99, then you're going to get 1,000 extra. You know what I mean? Like you can bundle it together.
But I'm gonna tell you what though, Blizzard, specifically the Overwatch 2 team, y'all need to get in contact with these Marvel Snap people and get this cosmetic shit down pat, because the Blizzard Battle Pass is fucking garbage. It's garbage. Even the paid one, it's garbage. I mean, maybe I'm being a little, because it's garbage because they give you all the shit that nobody really care about.
Right.
Listen, we want skins, we want highlight intros, we want victory poses, we want emotes, all that other shit, voice lines and sprays and all that. I don't give a fuck about none of that. and the thing is, That's the thing is if Blizzard is straight up, they're just putting out skins and they cost a certain amount of money. And that's not the way, man. Everything I've ever bought from Blizzard, I bought begrudgingly. I'm talking about
Mhm.
in-game purchases. Marvel Snap they just got it. They just got the formula down pat. It's like a slot machine / blowjob. It's a perfect mix of endorphin because it's been in beta since January or something like that.
Yeah, it's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, and they worked out all the kinks, and they give you these little surveys every now and then, so they know exactly how to tune the game. I bet you they know by your height, age, and weight and location exactly how to give you just enough progress, man. But I do. But here's the other thing: if I find a game and I like a game, I will play the fuck out of that game for like a week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, it would be like a month or 3.
Mm.
But now, you know what I'm saying? I don't have time. I don't have the energy. But I do have that. Once I'm hooked on something, once something got his hooks in me, I'm all in.
That's why Marvel Snap for me is so dangerous, is because they figured out exactly the right length of match
Yeah,
that will get me.
it's
You know?
it's like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
It's two
It's 2 or 3
little
minutes.
2 or 3 minute match. Again, the Overwatch matches can get a little long. They have gotten shorter than last season, but but when you're in a bad match with bad people and it's bad, it's just bad. You got to just wait it out.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that, because it does the matchmaking thing on Marvel Snap, do you think that some of the people that you're playing against are bots
Of course
that are
they.
designed to make you feel better?
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Because there have
Because
been a
there's
couple of
always
matches where I'm definitely going to lose this one, and then they do some dumbass shit on like the last round,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I sneak out a win. I'm like, okay, that wasn't a person that did that.
because here's why I know. I don't just think so. I know they're bots, and here's how I know they're bots. It's because I get into a game on Marvel Snap in the same amount of time every single time. It's like 3 seconds, and I'm in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. There's never a wait. There's never none of that. And that's just not feasible. There's
Right.
unless Marvel or whatever company made this game for Marvel, unless they figured out something that the rest of the online matchmaking people haven't, where you just instantly get into a game every single time you want to, no matter what time of night or day it is. I don't buy that.
Right.
No
Right.
way. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of it, though, is. And here's another thing though. The progress is kind of a trickle because I bullshit you not. I won my first like 150 games, and I'm still like the lowest level of progression.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the fuck is. Maybe it's something I don't understand. I also have a persistent notification in the shop for some reason.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something I didn't see but it's nothing there. It's just going, hey, it's a
Hmm.
notification over here in the shop, and I click on it and there's nothing. So I don't know. Maybe because I bought that one thing, they like, he's a whale. He'll buy it all. you know?
Oh
Um,
man, speaking of whales. Well, anyway, before we get on to that, you're back in the colonies.
yeah, I'm back. I'm back across the pond, bruv. I just came from the O2 Arena in London with Joe Rogan, Hans Kim, and Tony Hinchcliffe. Yeah, we had a great time. The crowds over there are so much more different. Um, I want to say they're a little smarter, if that makes sense. Not the insult to American crowds, but like I was surprised because after you do this, you've been doing this long enough, you can hear the little subtle differences in the laughs you're getting. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that my my more clever material got way bigger of a response than I was expecting over there. So that was one thing. Here's the other thing. Now, look, you think I'm making this up all you want to, but I was not aware of the stereotype that British food is awful. Okay, so I heard the one about the teeth and all that stuff, but I never heard that. And then we went over there, and and every time we go do like a big arena or something like that, we go eat a nice dinner. Obviously Joe
Mhm.
has access to like nice restaurants and stuff like that. So we went somewhere, and he was like, I was told that this was the best steakhouse in London. I was like, oh yeah. So obviously I'm ordering a steak.
Yeah.
Steak was mid. It was a mid. I mean, it, and then I thought the the next day I ate dinner in the hotel restaurant, the restaurant that was in the hotel. I was like, maybe that other thing was just an aberration. Ordered a steak here. Tasted exactly the same. It's like this burnt, flavorless shit, and I don't get it. Because here's the other thing: all their meats are fucking gross, and then their fucking pastries and daggone potatoes. They can cook the fuck out of potato over there. I didn't have a single potato that wasn't amazing. But for whatever reason, you get a steak, you get some. I mean, it's for. I don't get it. I don't get it. It was awful. Not awful, but it just wasn't. Like, I don't know if it's just a different seasoning profile over that motherfucker or something, but it's like all the colonies they got, ain't no spices coming from them colonies. It's like I don't understand. I don't get how they should have the best food in the world. They once
I think
ruled most of the world.
they have really good Indian food. Did you have any Indian food while you were there?
Well, no, but it was everywhere, but it's like,
Mm.
yeah, but I'm like, I ain't come to England to try Indian food. I get Indian food in America. It's like I came over here. I want this English cuisine, mate. I'm like, it's certain places I won't go with you. I'm not gonna put beans on toast or nothing gross like that. You know what I mean? But I wanted to try some Marmite. Apparently, the trick with Marmite is to put the daggone Marmite, butter the bread first, and Marmite is excellent. But like I said, the food wasn't great. The crowds were amazing. And me and Hans Kim, we decided to pop in on one of these comedy clubs, and they didn't put us on stage.
Whoa.
Yeah, we I forget who we talked to, like one of the assistant managers or something, and they were like, yeah, we don't really do that. I just think he didn't know who we were. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And we ain't the type of people who like, do you know who I am? But it was just like the comics knew who we were.
Right.
But this guy running the place was like, yeah, give me your number. We'll come back tomorrow. We're like, hey, dude, we're doing the O2 Arena tomorrow. I'm not gonna come back over here. But the crowds were great. It was a packed. It was great. I forget the name of the place. It was like Secret Club or something like that. Underground Club, something like that.
Why do you think the crowds were different?
Um, I what it is. I think that they are educated differently.
Mhm.
Higher education is more affordable.
Mhm.
I think they have sort of maybe a different disposition in general because it's it's always gloomy and gray and shit. So I think
Mhm.
just English people in general have a different demeanor. They
Yeah.
very very stiff upper lip. And the thing is, they hate each other. Like they hate to see another British person winning, but they love when an American comes over there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They love a winner. Um, and but I honestly, it's lost on me. I mean, because here's what it really is. It's not lost on me. Comedy is cultural. What's lost to me is what is the exact differences in our culture. Even though I'm sure if we sat down and talked about it, we could point them out. But comedy is cultural, and so what's going to resonate with you all depends on how well ingrained into a certain culture you are with the comedian.
Yeah, I think it's also they have such a more developed theater industry and like sense of theater. I think over
Yeah.
there they think of comedians as a theatrical event as opposed to just like in the US. In the US, comedy competes with like going to a baseball game or going to a bar. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right. Yeah, you're
Over
right.
there, it's like, oh, we can go to the opera or we can go to
See the comedian.
see the
Yeah, because
comedian, you
a
know?
lot of people don't know stand-up has its roots in vaudeville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what we see as modern stand-up now, we invented that here. But vaudeville was the first place where there was sort of, monologuing, but it was part of a bigger show. But just one dude standing there with a mic with nothing else going on around him, that started here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't
It's
and
like
I
vaudeville and the Catskills circuit was a big deal back
yeah.
in the day.
So
Chitlin circuit.
yeah, so yeah, I think I agree with that totally. They're more of a theater culture. They respect the arts more. So
Hmm.
when you say yeah, when they see you doing your art, they love that shit. You know, that's all it is. Like basically like there's a shitload of mid-level comedians, not mid-level in terms of their ability, but mid-level in terms of their career
Hmm.
that make a living over there because it's respected. Over
Right.
here, no one's coming to see a comic that they haven't heard of. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, some people have a relationship with, like, they go, I'm gonna go to this club because they always have good shows. But over there, like, you can sell tickets with nobody really knowing you for real. Because people they don't
Right.
look at it like, oh, that's a. Because here's like, nobody respects your decision to be a comic until you're successful. You know?
Right. And you
Yeah,
probably, if you're, unless you're like super hyper successful, like a Tom Segura or a Joe Rogan, or even like with Joe Rogan, a lot of times people who know your comedy, they know your comedy because of something else you did in entertainment,
right,
you know,
right,
TV
yeah,
show, you're a movie star,
yep.
whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, it was a good trip. It was a good trip. I'm glad I did it. I'm always grateful to do that kind of thing, to be in front of, be in front of those kind of people. It's still unbelievable to me. Every single time, man, I soak it all in. I soak it all in. It was a good trip. What's so crazy too is as I'm going on stage, the security person by the stairs for the stage stopped me and was like, "Where's your pass?" Like, I just got introduced and I'm walking on stage, he's like, "Where's your pass?" I'm like, "I don't have a pass. I'm about to go on
Don't you
stage."
know who I am?
Nope, I would never say that. But you know what? If there were ever a situation to say that, it would have been then. Because like, you do need to know who the fuck. Like, if you're gonna stop me before as I'm going up the steps, dressed in a suit, like the guy before me and the guy after me, he's like, "What are you stopping me for?" But he apologized. He was a good dude about it. Maybe, I don't know what information he was given. Or you got a
Right.
fucking
Right.
idiot boss that's like, because a lot of times, like, when someone stupid is in charge of you, and no matter how many levels above you, the shit rolls downhill is what they say. But it's like, nuance requires too much thinking. So they'll say something, that's not nuanced. Like, for example, like, I remember when I was waiting, when I was like working the door at certain places, and and this is in California, and the law says, like, if the person looks over like 28 or 32 or something like that, you got to card them. But people that own or run the business would be like, I don't give a fuck how old they look. Check their ID. You know what I mean? Because that's the sort of
Right.
thing you
Right.
say when you don't feel like sitting down and parsing out and you don't trust my judgment, so you just go, just check everybody.
Right.
Right. And then some 90-year-old man walks up and is like, "Yo, I haven't carried my ID in 25 years." And you go, "Well, I'm sorry." He's like, "I want to talk to the manager." And the manager comes up and goes, "Why the fuck you bothering this old man?"
You're like, because you.
Yeah. So it's probably a situation like that. um, Yeah, but you were saying, speaking of.
Oh, well, that kind of connects back to what you were just talking about. Yesterday, I was at the BMW Performance Center and Test Track
Okay.
over in Indio. Oh, it's in Thermal, California, which, if people don't know, most people have heard of Coachella. It's like out in the desert. It's very close to there. And the exact thing happened to me where I was like driving around. I was doing it for a podcast for Scissor Bros with Jeremiah Wright and Stevie. And I'm driving across the parking lot because there are paper signs, like handwritten paper signs stuck on cones. And this place is nice, but they were doing some sort of construction or whatever. So there's these paper signs telling you where to park. And I'm driving across the parking lot, and this guy is yelling at me and waving his hands, going, "Stop, stop." And I stop, and I roll down the window, and he's like yelling at me, like, "What are you doing? This is an active drag race strip." And I look around, and there's no like cars getting ready to drag race or anything like that, but there's just like some cones out there. And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, like, where am I supposed to go?" I was just following the signs. And he's like, "You got to go around here." And he's like showing me this whole thing, and he's yelling at me. And it's like, I don't fucking work here. I don't fucking know where I'm supposed to go. You've been here for 10 fucking years.
Right, like, is it obvious? It was supposed to be obvious. Was that his tone?
His tone was like I was the biggest fucking idiot in the entire world because I was driving across what looked like a parking lot in my car. And then, yeah, because I was following the handwritten signs that had been put up. Later on, I did see the guy again, and he did apologize to me, which that did feel pretty good. But I feel like this has happened to me the last 3 or 4 times. It happened to me when I was at the Comedy Store last, where I got yelled at by one of the waitresses because I was sitting in the wrong seat when I'd been put in that seat by a different waitress. And I'm like, this is between y'all. You two are arguing right now. I'm just sitting where I was told to sit.
Yeah. Why is it so hard to accept an apology? I think you know what it is because I think I'm being pissed off is a drug.
It feels good.
You know, it's like I realize like you have to sometimes you want to finish the emotion. Right? It's like feeling things. It's like jerking off. It's like you want to do the whole thing and get it out. And so when you start getting irritated or angry, it builds and you're hooked and it feels good to get pissed and express. But as soon as somebody apologizes, it's like you got to shut all that shit down. Or you got to be a piece of shit. You got to be a bigger piece of shit. Fuck your apologies. You got to do that. So it's one or the other, right? And so it's so and because that's exactly what happened to me. I got because you know he threw me off. He fucked up my train of thought, and I was thinking about it the whole time I was performing. Not the whole time, but you know it was on my mind. And when I got done, I was like, I'm gonna give this motherfucker a piece of my mind. And as soon as I took a step off stage, he was like, "Hey man, my bad. I don't know what I was thinking about." I'm like, "Oh, all right, man, fuck." Okay.
You're like mad that they apologized. Now you can't.
Well, yeah. Well, now I gotta go tell somebody the story so I can get it out. You know.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta finish. You gotta finish being angry.
You have to talk to somebody else, and for them to go like, "Yeah, man, you should have been angry. That's right. That's the right reaction." You go, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah, the sure the fuck is. You know, you have a friend like tag up your anger. Give me some tags. All right. Well,
you want to do some news? You want to do some mailbag?
Let's do. Wow, VA called me twice back to back.
Oh, talk about something that's about to be some bullshit.
Well, no, it's the West LA VA. Even though I've told the VA that I moved like a month and a half ago. But that's the VA's going VA, y'all. They going that's what they do. They just they got like 3 or 4 different systems that the information got to go into because, 2,000 dinosaurs want to keep using MS-DOS or whatever because that's what they learned on the system. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's no fucking reason why the VA can't be the most modern, and I mean technologically savvy medical shit in the world.
Right.
Yes, we have the technology, we have the budget, but that shit's all full of crooks. You know what I'm saying? Most of
Yeah,
that,
I was gonna say there is a reason why.
Yeah, most of the money set aside for veterans is stolen. And a lot of times it's from veterans. It's stolen by veterans.
Yeah.
Most of it is people that ain't veterans. It's politicians and shit. But they all, it's like when they announce like, oh, we just gave a new, $500 million VA budget. That money ain't going to help no motherfucking veterans.
Right.
Hell no. That shit's being embezzled, smuggled. If they were to audit, see, they don't want to audit the VA because they would have to shut that motherfucker down. If they was to truly do an audit of the VA, they would have to shut that bitch down. Because they'd be like, yo, we gonna have to fucking fire like half of these people.
Right.
Yeah, guaranteed. That money be coming up missing, or they don't have new beds, and then you walk into some of these facilities and it's like, marble statues and paintings. You're like, what the fuck? It's like that money is just, I'm telling you, somebody's brother owns the fucking the place that like lays tile, and so they make sure he get the contract, and then he charged double.
No bid contracts to like redo some section that nobody uses.
Like, look, man. Maybe I've told this story before, but when I lived in that homeless shelter for vets, I remember, I remember like all the things that were like hella cheap, and there wasn't no money for it, and all this other shit. And then as soon as the guy running the place like relapsed, and it was a big scandal, and then all of a sudden it was new everything. And I remember them coming to us. They wanted us to be represented in like this class action lawsuit because the West LA VA campus, it's a shitload of acres, maybe like 500 acres, something crazy. It's a lot of fucking land, and it was donated to the city specifically for veterans. Since the Civil War or some shit, and most of the land is not being utilized. There's empty buildings and all this other shit. They got all these homeless veterans in the city. None of them live over there. Very little of them live on the actual property. And it's a big ass hospital. There's the UCLA baseball field. There's the Brentwood, that fancy high school up there. They've got like Olympic swimming facilities and tennis courts, and it's all this shit on there, not for veterans. There's a fucking little mini golf course putt thing, a little park, some statues, all this other shit. And then they start going back through the records. It was like, wait a minute, who bought this? Nobody knows. Wait a minute, who signed this contract? Don't nobody know. They don't even know. Because they were trying to figure out where the money went. And they want to do a class action lawsuit. So they came and they tried to include us, and they were like, you have more power than you know, and all this shit. But all they ended up wanting was for us to have access to the facilities that they built. Because think about it like this. If you was a veteran, you don't, because this is actually exactly my situation. You walking from the hospital, you don't have a car. You walking from the VA hospital, and you walk through their baseball diamond, they will have you arrested for trespassing or have you removed.
Oh.
Even though this is VA land, right? And they ain't veterans. So
Jesus Christ.
Right. And so that's all we got out of the lawsuit was that we're allowed to be on or near these properties, not during school hours. And I think we had access to like the swimming pool, not during school hours. But nobody wants to find out where all that motherfucking money went. Nobody wants to find out who sold the land to other people. Nobody knows. No one has any idea.
You'd think that there would be some sort of a paper trail for something like that.
You would think so. You would think like if you really, really, really wanted to know, we know who own it. We just don't know who they bought it from, or how, or for how much. You know, so it's that kind of situation. It's like people that think that our government ain't corrupt. You got a whole other thing coming. It's the fact that we have the most money. That's not. It's the fact that we have the most money that isn't controlled by like a single family or something like that. Like we have the most spread out wealth, and it gives us the illusion that we are less corrupt than like some third world country's government or something. No, we don't.
That's accurate though, right?
Huh?
I think we have way higher wealth inequality than most other countries.
Right. I mean, it's getting there. We're headed in that direction. But I just mean, for the longest time, the facade was that, you know, like when you look places in America, you can see wealth. You know, and so it gives you the illusion that like there ain't some dictator sitting up on the hill and, you know, with a gold tank while you living in a thatch hut or whatever. You know, it's like it's not visual. It's not apparent. Sure, the wealth inequality, and because we figured out a way, you know, with the stock market and, you know, and all these fucking weird terms these bankers and shit make up to make it almost impossible for the average person to even recognize any of it. Or where all the money's gone, or who really has it. We don't, you know.
Yeah, I think the issue is that we in the United States nominally have equivalent political power. We don't really, but that's at least the mythology that we tell ourselves. Right. And meanwhile, money is what gives you political power in the United States.
Yeah, money is power. That's
power.
I told you, we talked about this last week. That's the lesson that you got to take from Game of Thrones. Is right and wrong are secondary to power. You know, whoever has the power is right. That's how it works. It's like it you know, it's easy to get caught up in like this self-righteous bullshit where like. Because, I mean, you hear me complain about it ad nauseum, but I feel like the left always wants to win by being right. They want to be righteous. They want to win righteously. You know, and it's impossible. We fighting a war with you know, the other side ain't got no motherfucking rules, and we over here like, but I'm gonna rise above it and be the better person. It's like,
Brian, when they go low, we go high.
Yeah, all right. No, when they go low, I get high and think of revenge. That's what I do. I get creative. But yeah, let's do 2 news stories and then answer some emails. How about we do that?
All right. You got some news stories you picked out, or you want me to?
Man, I always have some in my head before I come here, and now I gotta stop getting high before the show. Secret show tonight. KCPD. Now, what is that? Oh, the Kansas City Police Department?
Yeah.
KCPD said missing black women reports in KC were completely unfounded. Less than a month later, one escaped after being kidnapped from Prospect and tortured in a basement for over a month. That's from the Kansas City Defender. Damn, that was a long-ass headline, Kansas City Defender.
They're trying to be complete, man.
That was just the headline. Do I even got to read the article now? The bombshell revelations and horrifically tragic events explicitly disprove KCPD's earlier statement that there are no missing black women from this area and that the potential of a KC serial killer is completely unfounded. The woman also told investigators her friends didn't make it out and had been murdered by the man. Whoa. A bombshell. Why? That's the second time they used the word bombshell. Okay. A bombshell multi-county investigation began last Friday when a 22-year-old black woman escaped bondage after being kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and held captive in the basement of an Excelsior Springs, Missouri man's home. The man is identified as Timothy Haslett Jr., a white 39-year-old male. The woman was discovered around 8 a.m. last Friday, October 7th, when reports of a woman banging on doors and crying for help reportedly reached the police. Okay, what the fuck is going on in Kansas City? I mean, let's pause right here because the clear wrong is the kidnapping rapist motherfucker. But wait a minute. You mean to tell me that a crying woman banging on doors, nobody helped her? Y'all just called the police. No, ain't nobody let her in? Am I misreading this?
Have you seen you ever seen Halloween, the original, the movie?
Halloween the original?
Yeah, the John Carpenter with Jamie Lee Curtis. There's that part in Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis is running around and banging on doors on Halloween night because he's being chased by Michael Myers, and there's that one shot where the guy like turns on the light, sees her banging on the door there, he just turns the light off. And when you're watching Halloween, you're like, that's the smart decision for that guy.
Well, okay, listen. To an extent, I understand, but hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Okay, yeah. So listen, if it's in the middle of the night and you banging on my door in a panic, the brave thing to do would be to open the door and help you. Also, the risky thing to do, right?
Right.
I would totally understand if you were to turn your light off because, you know, I'm down. I want to help you, but I got to see what you're running from. Like you know, if I can see the monster and you on my, hey, come on, get in here. But I don't know what you're running from. I don't know who after you. You know, I get that mentality. But this is 8 a.m. This is 8 o'clock in the morning.
People getting ready for work.
Yeah, I don't know. Sierra Tharp told the Excelsior Citizen that her grandmother provided the woman food. And okay, I'm sorry. I was just judging the whole city of Kansas City. Provided the woman food and a blanket after bringing her inside Tharp's home. The Kansas City Defender has been working. Man, you see what I did? I stopped with half the information and went off on a rant when the next sentence would have just, anyway.
No, but what you have to do now, you got to do it. Yeah, but still. Yeah, but still, she was banging on some other people.
Yeah, she banged on other people's shit. Yeah, I'm not all the way wrong. The Kansas City Defender has been working collaboratively with the Excelsior Citizen, a local news outlet in Excelsior Springs, on this story. She made the comment about her friends, that they didn't make it, and that he had killed them. I'm really hoping they find evidence about her friends. If anything, she can have closure about her friends. I just hope they can find everything they need to. All right. Well, that's depressing. Yeah, but and what's up with the police? You know what, man? I mean, at this point, I mean, are we even surprised anymore?
No.
I mean, are we even shocked anymore when we hear shit like this? Everything's fine. This rumors, that shit's made up. People just reporting people missing. They just be doing that. You know? It's because listen, here's the truth, man. Every kind of like with policing and in the medical field, there's this implicit racism of like that, you know, that black people's cries are overblown. You know, that we can take more pain, that we, you know, that the, you know, our average, you know, blood pressure is a little higher. So it's like they tell you later when you got to do something about it, like shit like that. Like
There's still doctors. There's still doctors who think that black people have thicker skin, like literally thicker skin.
Yeah, there's dumbass doc. I told you about that. I told you about the doctor I had that was like, she wouldn't test me for HIV because she's like, well, are you a homosexual male? And I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? It's like this was like 2016. It's like, lady, are you like what?
That's some ignorant shit.
Yeah, like what decade you living in? What are you talking about? See, let me refresh her. What it was is that I said I wanted to get tested, and she was like, full panel. I was like, yeah, full panel. So they get it, and I ain't hear nothing back. No news is good news. Then 6 months later, I'm back at the doctor for another checkup, and I'm like, I never heard nothing from my STD results. And she was like, well, if you don't hear nothing, that means it's fine. And she read right through it. She was like, yeah, you don't have this, and you don't have that, and you don't have that. And I was like, wait a minute, AIDS is not on there. She's like, yeah, why would we I was like, you said it was a full panel. You tested me for 3 things. It's at least like 5 things that you should be tested for.
Mm-hmm.
Just being out here in these streets, right? So, and then she was like, and so I basically had to be like, yeah, you know what? I roll around in needles butt naked in West Hollywood in the alleys on my lunch breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We play kick the needle. Just so she would give me a fucking HIV test. The VA, once again, it keeps coming full circle. All right, one more article. Florida puts. Hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do some technology. Why the James Webb Space Telescope's amazing Pillars of Creation photo has astronomers buzzing. The James Webb Space Telescope took a breathtaking look inside the Pillars of Creation, a spectacular dust cloud formation made famous by its predecessor, the Hubble telescope. The image is not only stunningly beautiful, but also reveals cosmic processes never before observed. Can we put this up here? With such a clarity. Here is what astronomers.
I'll put the picture in the video.
Here's what astronomers see behind the sparkling, colorful tapestry. If you want to properly take in the magic of the James Webb Space Telescope's photo of the Pillars of Creation, you have to download the original image from the website of the Space Telescope Science Institute, STSCI, in Baltimore, which manages the mission's science operations. It's not a small file, all about 150 megabytes. That's not, that ain't shit.
Well, for a single image, that's
no, but it says it might clog your internet download link for a while. Oh, your internet downlink.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
What the fuck are they talking about at NASA? 150 megabytes? That ain't clogging shit. I could download that right now on my phone in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, I already downloaded it.
With a shitty signal.
The image is dope though.
Yeah, I think they just. Oh yeah, the image is fucking amazing. Yeah, I love that. I love technology, man. I'm just so with it. I'm so with it right now. Like, one of my new addictions I told you is these daggone 4K Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm addicted now. I just started collecting the daggone steel books, which is like hardier, some kind of artwork or something else up. And some of the shit's ridiculous. And like I saw to get the whole MCU thing was like $600, $650.
The Infinity Saga?
No, like every MCU movie. It's like there's like 51 discs or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I don't want to. I don't even like them all. And I
right.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I just need the Avengers movies. And then I'll pick and choose the rest. Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Iron Man, Thor 2. No, wait a minute.
I like all the Captains America.
All the Captains America?
Captain America, First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War. That's by far the best solo series.
I mean, isn't there a fourth one?
I don't think so.
There's 4 Captain America movies, right?
No. right? Captain America.
Captain America, Winter Soldier, and then
No, just Civil
the
War. The next one is going to be the one with Anthony Mackie as Captain America. They did announce that one.
Oh, Black Captain America.
Yeah, Black Captain America.
Hell yeah, I'm here for it. And I'm waiting on my daggone Lord of the Rings. See, the problem with that is it's the opposite problem. Is it's hard to get the cheap one. I just need the discs. If it's a steel book, I'll get the steel book, but I don't need the collector's box with the booklet and the fucking bag tags and leather jacket. And I don't need all that shit. There's just more shit. There's just more shit to have to put somewhere.
It's like when people get the like Ultimate Edition Fallout game or whatever, and it comes with like a tote and a little maquette that you're supposed to put on your mantelpiece or whatever.
I don't need none of that. Oh, okay. Whew. All right, let's answer an email or two. Let me see, Man, it's something as soon as we finish, I'm gonna fucking remember. So I can't get to everybody. Let me just do the one at the top. Since that's the newest. Emma, did you see this link from Joe? From Fat Joe? And a dog attack may have killed Amazon delivery driver, sheriff says. Okay, this is from Fat Joe. And an Amazon delivery driver was found dead in Missouri after a suspected dog attack Monday night. Damn, Missouri again. Wait a minute. Was it Kansas? It's only one Kansas City, right? Or was it two Kansas City?
No, I think there's two Kansas Cities. There's Kansas City, Kansas, and there's Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, well, the article earlier was Missouri.
The earlier one was Missouri, though.
Okay, damn, Missouri one more time. The delivery worker, not you. Stop it. This is happening a lot lately where my Google devices be thinking I said, okay, Google. And
well, you just did.
Yeah, there's no way to not do that. Yeah, but sometimes they just be thinking I asked it something and I didn't. Stop spying on me. Delivery worker was dropping off packages at a home in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, an area outside Kansas City, when he was apparently attacked and killed. Authorities were investigating whether two dogs who lived at the home and whose owners were out of town may have been responsible. Deputies found the man's body outside the home with what looked like bite marks all over his body.
Bruh, it's the same town. It's Excelsior Springs.
Yo. What if that?
It's the same spot.
It's the same dude. No, it's not. Yeah, this is wild.
They arrested him and his dogs got out.
Dog attacks are commonly reported by delivery workers, but usually result in injury, not death. In 2021, more than 5,400 postal workers were attacked by dogs, according to the U.S. Postal Service. Kansas City, Missouri, had the third highest number of attacks on letter carriers, with 48 attacks last year. Wow. Man, that make me not want to go down there. Damn, how did y'all get Patrick Mahomes to sign a motherfucking $1 billion contract to stay there for 50 years? Well, appreciate the email as always, Joe. Thank you very much. TikTok. This is from the homie.
We do have a advice champ.
Oh, where's that?
I think he didn't want it to be. He wanted it to be anonymous, but if you look, it says girlfriend advice, money problems.
Oh, right. Okay. And okay. Hold on, this is from 6 days ago. Didn't we do this on the? No, we didn't.
Nope.
I'm a huge fan, Brian. I'm a huge fan of your comedy. Wait a minute. At which name does he want me to keep anonymous? At the end,
we'll just make up a new one. Just call him Sam.
Okay. All right. All right. This email is from Sam. Brian, I'm a huge fan of your comedy and now your podcast. I'm lucky enough to have seen you a few times and will continue to catch you at the Vulcan when I can. I've been dating my girl for a year now, and everything has been great. We're beginning to talk about our future plans to get married and start a family. Okay. And my only reservation is that we're having some tough conversations about money. This mostly involves her criticizing me for overspending. Everything from making a snarky comment if I order an expensive entree at a restaurant to entirely nixing plans, vacations, and even family weddings because it would be too expensive. I believe she is coming from a good place, but it's clear that we have very different relationships with money, and it's becoming increasingly difficult. To add to this, when discussing future plans, she has made it clear that if we were to have kids, she wants to stop working. I have a great job, and I believe I could support a family on my income, but surely this would add more pressure to an already tense situation. Can you offer any advice on how to talk through these issues and get aligned on our finances? Thanks, Advice Champ. Well, you said a lot there. And okay, now again, I can only go off what you're saying, and then I gotta deduce or infer what you're not saying, because it sounds like you're saying that your wife. Like your wife is complaining about your spending, but you haven't given.
It's not his wife; it's his girlfriend.
I'm sorry, your fiance or someone you're planning on marrying.
Yeah.
But you're saying she complains about your spending, but you haven't given me any indication about as to whether those complaints are valid. Because there is a line that I don't know what you're spending it on. Do you have a gambling problem? Are you buying 4K Blu-rays?
Well, he's saying that it's stuff like expensive entree at a restaurant, vacations, family weddings, stuff like that. So it doesn't sound like. I think we can assume that she's not complaining about him like gambling or something like that. I mean, maybe he is.
Right. But
if that's the case, then this advice won't really apply.
What he's saying is it's everything from that small thing to these big things.
Yeah.
Her complaining about, but what he's not telling me is like, can you afford, is she complaining about all these things because you spend too much money all the time? Like, can you afford all these trips and vacations and shit that you, or is she trying to be responsible? I don't understand that. And but that's not even really what you're asking. You're asking how can I offer you any advice on how to talk through these things? Well, I don't think y'all should get married. I don't, because one, these are three separate problems. One, you're constantly irritated with her by her doing what you perceive to be nagging you, right? That's compounded by the fact, which is with your last paragraph, is that y'all have trouble communicating, right? And then on top of that, she don't want to work, and I can tell that bothers you, and I can also tell that you have not expressed that.
Bingo.
And so it's like, and I get it. I've been in relationships and friendships with people where, sometimes the problem is that I don't communicate, and sometimes the problem is that, I just dealt with this recently a couple weeks ago with certain people around me, where they complain that you don't communicate, but then when you try to they make communicating with them so fucking frustrating and irritating that you would just rather not deal with the headache. You know what I mean? So it could be that maybe you don't communicate with her for that reason. Maybe you're one of those people that's conflict averse. You shy away from conflict. Maybe you're whipped. Maybe you just pussy whipped beta male shit, and your wife just runs, or your girl just runs the fuck all over you, and you don't say anything. You don't strike me as that sort of person. But but these seems like these are deep seated, issues, and I feel like if you already aren't talking about little shit like whether she'll work when y'all have kids, if you ain't telling her that you got a problem with that, I mean, how you gonna tell her, hey, shut the fuck up about my bread that I'm spending?
I think what he's saying though is that he's okay being the sole breadwinner in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that's going to be the case, then how is she going to be okay with that? If she's already sweating about money, how is she going to be okay with having a single income household?
And here's the other thing I do know. The overwhelming majority of marriages end over money.
Yes.
Money and time. Those are the number two. Time being the prerequisite, but it's money. Money problems are the number one problem in all marriages.
Yeah.
In out of all problems, it's the number one problem. Time is the second problem. Like if you don't have enough time to spend together, you start growing apart, you start fucking other people, that kind of shit. But money, if you, it sounds like you have the answer to your question. You just, you need to hear me say it out loud. But it's like if you feel like you spend money okay, and you don't think she's ever gonna get past that, and then later on she don't want to work, I don't know, man. But maybe you saying to yourself, "Oh, I really love this girl and I want to make it work." Well, then, just make an effort and see if that works. Like go take a fucking financial literacy class or something. Show her that you're trying to improve on this money spending, or break up.
Those are your two choices.
Yeah.
Can you tag me in? I have something to say about this.
Yeah,
I am married, and that is what me and my wife argue about the most is money, because that's what every married couple argues about the most is money. I would suggest that the two of you sit down and make a budget. And just by making that budget, you're going to have these conversations about how much you want to spend a month on, how much you want to spend a year on vacations and going to family weddings and stuff like that. How much you want to spend on a week-by-week basis on ordering food or eating out or whatever you're going to do. And then when you're at a restaurant and she gives you side eye because you're going to order the surf and turf or whatever, then you can go back to like, okay, well, is this in our budget? Right? And you need to stick to the budget too. But the purpose of the budget is not just to stick to it. The purpose of it is to prompt these conversations with each other about what you want to spend money on and how much.
Right.
And then you can also, if you want extra credit, look down the line and say like, okay, well, if we date for another year and then we get married and then we're married for a year and then we have kids and blah, 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 you can work it out and figure out, all right, how much money do I expect to be making 5 years from now when we have kids, and is that going to be enough money to support the lifestyle that we want according to our budget?
Yeah. Plus, also the key part here is dating your girl for a year.
That's not very long, my guy.
That's to me. Look, I mean, unless y'all are living together and you haven't indicated that you, unless y'all are living together, and even then, I mean, a year, my money ain't how I spend my money ain't in your motherfucking business. Y'all already talking about getting married, having kids. I mean, take it a beat. I don't know how old you are, man, but that's to me, that's a little quick. That's a little quick to be having those discussions. Yeah, until y'all can, like Rob said, that was an excellent thing. Until y'all can communicate, it's hopeless. There's no point in even, like, if you can't do this, what Rob just said, sit down, have a budget, discuss it, talk it out. If you can't do that, It's hopeless. Until you can do that, all this talk about getting married and having kids, fuck that. No way. Then you're going to have a bunch of fucking passive-aggressive ass kids. You know?
I'll let them know the money discussions don't get easier once you're older, once you're living together, once you if you buy a place, once you have a mortgage, once you have kids are expensive as shit.
Wait till you gotta talk her into taking her fucking father off life support. That shit gets serious. Like, honey, we spending $2,000 a month to keep this motherfucker alive. He's a vegetable. I mean, come on. Bradley's in fucking college. You know, that's a tough one.
Bradley.
Yeah, I just imagine they would name their kid Bradley.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so that, I guess that sums it up. That's our advice, right? You should sit down, do a budget, a monthly budget, have these conversations. You should have a savings though, or something, because you could be irresponsible. I don't know, but like I said, try. You have to put forth the effort.
You might also find out that there's some reason why you don't want to be with this person. Like, you might find out, the reason why I'm so obsessed with money is because I have $150,000 in credit card debt. You want to know that right now.
Oh yeah, you got to know how much debt they in, because that's gonna become your debt.
Yep.
In fact, maybe go to couples therapy before you. A year.
Sit down, make a budget. You're gonna talk through the shit, and if she doesn't want to do it, then she ain't for you.
Yeah. Because like that's the thing, man. You have to be able to have hard conversations with your significant other. You got to be able to get stuff off your chest and put everything on the table. It's not even really about money. It's not about the money. It's about your ability to like tolerate one another's strong convictions on things that are matters of opinion. I mean, just be lucky you ain't got a stupid bitch on your arm, because then you got to deal with, you got to argue with her about facts. You arguing about somebody about opinions on things that are a matter of opinion. You got to be able to do that to be in a relationship. Or you got to be also stupid to date. I guess, what? I'm thinking too much into it. I hope that helped you out, brother. Please email us back and let us know when you're single, because you're gonna be. No, I'm kidding. Let us know how it works out. Hey, this is Mike from Minnesota. He said, "Hey Brian, I love the podcast. My question: what's your favorite movie, show, media about revenge? I'm partial to the 2002 adaptation of the Count of Monte Cristo, even though it's a bit campy. I love Count of Monte Cristo. Also, have you seen Dora Hedora on Netflix? It's like The Punisher meets Alice in Wonderland, and also it's vaguely a revenge story. All the best, Mike from Minnesota." I feel like I've read this. My favorite movie, show, media about revenge. I guess my go-to answer would be Lucky Number 11. Which isn't on 4K Blu-ray, by the way. Lucky Number 11, star-studded joint. It got no fucking media attention whatsoever. And it's got Bruce Willis, Josh Hartnett, Lucy Liu, Sir Ben Kingsley, Morgan Freeman, and other people. But anyway, it's a great revenge story. I like Old Boy. Oh, you know what? No, it's Old Boy. The original, not the fucking Spike Lee bastardization of it. But yeah, what a fucking revenge story right there. If you ain't seen it, I ain't gonna ruin it for you, but you need to get the fuck out there and go see that thing, baby. Woo! The original Old Boy was fucking intense.
You seen Mandy, Brian?
Oh yeah, I've seen Mandy.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, for me, Mandy was more of like a visual thing. It wasn't a great script, but it was like a great.
That's fair.
It was a great experience. It was like a great journey. Like, it was kind of a trippy. I mean, what would you call it? Like acid horror?
Yeah, acid horror, psychedelic horror.
Yeah, it was, but it was great. It was fun to watch, and I would love to see that in like full HDR. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we cooking. Let me see. Can I get that in 4K? Hey Google, find Mandy in 4K Blu-ray.
Arrow Video.
Yep, Arrow. Yo, Arrow got a lot of shit. See, I just found out in this little world that like different companies pay for the rights to remaster the material in 4K.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so there's different companies that do better jobs that are different. That's why you get different like exclusives or collector's editions and all that, because some do reprints and what have you. And Arrow has a pretty good reputation. But yeah, those are two good ones. Old Boy, the original, and that's actually a trilogy, by the way. It's Old Boy, Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, and
what was the other one?
I think the other one was Mr. Vengeance. No, it was.
No, it's Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and it's Lady Vengeance is the third one.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
So it goes Old Boy. It goes Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is the first one, and then it goes Old Boy, and then it goes Lady Vengeance.
Yeah, but Old Boy's the masterpiece.
Yeah, that one's so sick.
Yeah, I don't even remember the plot to the other two, but I know I've seen them. All right, one more. Man, it seems like all these are. See, I don't remember which ones we didn't get to.
Throw one out there, and I'll let you know if we did it.
Wow, this is another one from. Well, this one's on the red. This is another one from Fat Joe, DJ Fat Joe. Let me see here. This is an article. Jamaica broadcasting regulator bans music and TV deemed to glorify crime. Jamaica's broadcasting regulator has banned music and TV broadcast deemed to glorify or promote criminal activity, violence, drugs, use, scamming, and weapons. That's all the best TV. The government has said the ban is meant to cut back on material that could give the wrong impression that criminality is an accepted feature of Jamaican culture and society. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off. It's like these fucking Puritans. Will we ever be rid of them?
Nope.
These people that want to control how people feel and think. You blame, let's talk about it. These shitty parents that blame their fucked up kids' fucked upness on movies, music, video games, podcasts. No, it's because you're an absentee parent. That's what it is. You're not involved in your children's lives. That's what it is. And that doesn't mean that your kid do something fucked up that is completely your fault. But, don't blame a fucking song. You know what I'm saying? Either your kid was just a piece of shit. Listen. Before movies, media, and video games, the world was full of violence. It was mostly violent. It was more violent. So it's absolutely crazy to me that people come to these conclusions that if we ban rap music and ban movies where people get murdered and killed and robbed and scammed, that it'll stop people from wanting to be scammers. No, motherfucker, poverty makes people be scammers.
Right. I was going to say, I don't even think it's like absentee parents necessarily, except to the extent that sometimes parents are absent because they got to make some fucking money, or they're in jail, or they were shot, or whatever.
And you can definitely be a rich scammer. It's poverty or narcissism make you a scammer.
Yep.
And or both. That's it.
And they have the causal relationship exactly backwards. It's these in reality, the societal situations create the crime, and then the people who grow up in those communities that are full of crime make art about crime, because that's what their experiences are.
Well, exactly. Because it's crazy to me that it's like if I was to, it's almost like going, hey, you know what? We need to stop showing Saving Private Ryan so that our government will stop trying to go to war. It's like that. It's completely fucking crazy to think like this.
It's completely backwards.
Yeah, you can't stop people from being people. We're a shit species. We're awful. And a very small percentage of us are a little less awful. And an even smaller percentage of us are excellent. And we just got to hope those people are smart. Because the stupid and evil things are and every now and then we get somebody that's an excellent person and also not a fucking idiot. And they drag us, the rest of us, along.
Well, and then we murder them.
Yeah, and then if you want to be a Debbie Downer about it, yeah, we usually do. We usually do kill
Brian.
them.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, we usually kill them, or it's like but stopping violent music isn't gonna stop violence, motherfucker. In fact, some of the most remembered names in history were violent people. Alexander the Great, Hannibal Barca, Genghis Khan. I just ran out of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Darius the Great.
Multiple Dariuses.
Oh yeah, multiple Darius. Yeah, multiple Dariuses.
Caesars. Every Caesar was a piece of shit.
Every Caesar's, Xerxes, Mark Antony, all these names because they murdered enough people to be remembered.
Yep. Well, this is exactly in House of the Dragon, right, where Viserys is asking, will I be remembered as a great king? Because he didn't go to any war. He presided over peace, a tenuous peace, but peace mainly for most of his reign. And I forget his advisor's name or whatever. It's like, well, you were a good king. You presided over peace, but kings are not remembered for being good. Kings are remembered for being conquerors.
Right. Yeah. And so and I think that's just our nature. So my point is this idea that art creates violence is touchy. It's touchy at best. It's a little flimsy. It's a little suspect. Now I don't doubt for 1 second that scammers, real life scammers, probably do love the show about scammers. Maybe they get an idea or two or something like that.
Art can definitely affect public opinion about different things, but
sure,
I don't think that you're going to prevent crime by outlawing or banning art about crime.
Well, let me ask you this, Rob. If we knew that it would you be okay with that? This is like Equilibrium 1984, or was it 1942?
1984?
Yeah, this is like Equilibrium status, where it's like, what if banning art did prevent crime? Because it prevented emotion. Like, would you be cool with that?
Then, well,
what the fuck?
I think that's two different questions. The first is if banning certain types of art actually did reduce crime and suffering, would I be okay with that? I guess I have to say yes if it did work, but it depends on what the mechanism of action is. Why does it work? If it works because nobody feels any emotions and we're all just zombies walking around and moving levers from here to here over and over again all day, and we all survive, but we live these empty robotic lives, I don't think that's a good trade. You think
the danger is worth all the other things we get from art?
Yeah, I think that art is a indispensable aspect of the
being human
condition. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because if you take away art, what's left?
Yeah, a life without emotion or self-expression or communication would not, in my mind, be worth living.
Yeah, dude, that's what we do. We fuck, we fight, and we art. That's what a human is, to me. You know? Right. Yeah, because without art, all that's left is fucking and fighting, and fucking don't last that long.
All right, you want to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, I forgot eating. Yeah, I feel that feels like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Please go to all the platforms. BS with Brian Simpson. Please email bswithbriansimpson@gmail.com for all your questions, comments, or concerns. If you need to hear from the advice champ, just let me know. Don't message me or DM me. I do read them sometimes, but it's hard to have them all in one. It's easier to have them all in one place. So please, if you want advice, just email bswithbriansimpson@gmail.com. If you want my tour dates, we have 2 more stops this year before we kick off next year's tour. One in Raleigh, North Carolina, and one in Iowa. Davenport, Iowa. So get your tickets. They're on the website, be at briansimpsoncomedy.com. You can also click on the link on any of my socials. BS Comedian on all socials. And yeah, y'all have a good day. Thanks for listening.